have a few missed because of the shifts they work, and then we had a few sick. Since then, I've had several employees out sick with flu and COVID. So it's been a tight ship of one having to cover for another one really since Christmas. But we are back at it, finally through the holidays of double trash, only to next Monday be a holiday and Tuesday be double trash again. But we are doing that. The people we bought the street sweeper from did come and complete the training last week. Provided the supplies for the 100-hour service on the machine, and the equipment we ordered came in and they put it on and showed them how to put it on, take it off. So that was all done. I know you all was interested in that. That was all done. So moving on to the agenda, that's the only announcements I had. Really moving on to the agenda. The agreements in the package, and actually, since some of you are new, let me explain a little bit. This is actually not the agreement for the health insurance per se. It's the agreement with the union. Our employees belong to local 783, the Teamsters Union, and because of them belonging to the union, we get all of our benefits package as part of the union. So the insurance comes from Central States. They call it Team Care because it's primarily, I guess, the insurance company that Teamsters put together. But anyway, there's only a couple of differences in this agreement from what we've had for the past, I believe, 6 years. When I come to the city 9 years ago, the employees belonged to the local laborers union out of Catlettsburg and had their insurance through them. They pulled out and chose to not do public employees anymore, so it left us in a scramble to try to find benefits. I searched for benefits all over the state, just about, got quotes from many different places, and nothing came close to what the union had been providing before when it was a labor union. And so we end up going back to union with this Teamsters Union out of Louisville, and have really had no problems. If you have any questions about the benefits, you could ask them. You'll be seeing the numbers on them a little bit more when we do the budget in April. The raise, insurance goes up every year. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. Don't seem to be much we can do about it. But two pieces of language that's in this that's different from before. One was at the bottom of page 2. It was called Drive. And at first I did have a little concern about it. I sent it over to Bud. Had Bud look at it. He called KLC just to make sure. It's asking if the employees want to donate extra money to a political action fund, basically. It's not required. I really don't see any of our employees doing it, but they put that language in there that says they can if they want to. Nothing required. The other thing that was kind of important was, you look on the back page of back page 3, paragraphs up from the bottom. It says, in addition, if an individual is receiving no wages due to an accident caused by an illness or off-the-job injury, the employer shall pay contributions for a period of 4 weeks. Then under Plan TA, which is what we're under, the fund will provide loss of time coverage and family eligibility for 26-week max while on loss of time. That's to our benefit. Before, if an employee was off on extended sick leave due to illness or injury that was not caused at work. So, say they go home and in a 4-wheeler accident and then they can't work. Because if it was an injury at work, then workers' comp's in play. But if it was an injury off the job, we was stuck paying the benefits as long as we kept them as an employee. So under this, I negotiated this with them because we actually had it happen a year or so ago. and it made me realize, you know, so if an employee goes off on extended leave and ends up on permanent disability, you're paying benefits all that time they're trying to get that disability approved, and at the same time having to hire somebody in their place and pay their bill. So this way, we're capped at a maximum of a month. That if they're no longer working and we don't have a check to take anything out of, then it will go over to Team Care and they'll be paying the plan for them. Reading of ordinance 15-02-3A, being an amendment to the existing ordinance regulating the application for sale of alcoholic beverage, establishing licensing and the fees. That's just what we discussed last month. You all asked the Bud to go ahead and draft the ordinance, changing the times to match state law. A is an amendment, ordinance relating to compensation of city employees pursuant to KRS 83A07. That was because of a mistake that was found in the ordinance that was passed last year on my salary, and then also, the police officers in their, pay classification, after so many years, they're awarded a longevity bonus, which is all spelled out in their plans and approved by you all. And we had one that had come into that time to get his longevity bonus, which put him over the maximum on that. So that needed to be corrected anyway. So we're correcting both of those, one a problem, one a mistake.
I believe that's
Nothing's changing financially, really, just the mistake, and then compensating for his longevity bonus that he earned. Any questions?
Can you explain the state incentive pay for each one of these? It's always listed after.
I can explain mine. I don't know if I can explain I can explain the officers too. Just let me get it from Greg could probably explain the officers better, okay?
Police officers are required to have every year 40 hours of continuing training, and that state incentive pay, they pay us $200 a year, I think it is, to maintain that.
so much on each hour that they work in
Yeah,
overtime.
it's like $1.90 something an hour, or $2 something, I think it's $2 something now.
When they've completed their training, then that kicks in.
Yeah, once they complete the academy, it'll start at the end of every year after their academy, they have to complete at least a minimum of 40 hours of continuing education.
So if their rate of pay here is $15, then and they qualify for state incentive, they're actually getting $16.90.
Okay.
And then the mayor's is,
And mine is a flat, $2,000 if I meet requirements of a training incentive that's set forth by the state. And the state allows that in the, like, judge, magistrates, the state allows that, and it's not classified as a raise, so you're not violating your raise policy that you can't have a raise. That's the only thing you can make on top of your set salary is that incentive that the state said.
when you complete a
Yeah.
certain number of hours.
And I have to submit those hours, and they have to send Kathy a document from the state saying it's met and that she's, permitted to pay that.
And I don't know, but I would say the council members are the same
Council
way.
members are the same way. I believe our ordinance says that.
This ordinance does, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We've never had anybody.
There
do
is
it.
a specific ordinance of House Bill
Yeah, state.
191 or whatever that, cities have to adopt that you wanna be part of that program.
And the fire department could do that.
Yeah. Voted on this last month, but if you remember, we made some changes to the 911 agreement, an interlocal agreement between the city and the county on how 911 shall be run. It was somewhat out of date. We fixed those things in accordance with kind of what myself and the county had agreed to. After we made the changes, Bud typed up a new agreement, which is in front of you. But on page, the county submitted to him a request to make 2 more changes. The one that's actually changed, I don't have in front of me, so I'm gonna tell you the change. So on
It's
page
marked.
number 2,
It should be marked on their ordinance.
it's marked, but, so page number 2 at the bottom, where Kathy made a little squiggly off to the left. This agreement says, the original agreement and this agreement says the 911 board will elect the chairman annually from its membership. 911 board shall meet at least quarterly upon the call of the chairman. The director, 24-hour notification to each member shall be apprised by the 911 director of all significant plans of attend. The county would like to change that to say the chairman will be the county judge all the time. As far as, since I have been here, well, when I was emergency management director, I went to them some too. So even going back 9 more years farther back than this 9 years I've been mayor, the county judge, as I can remember, has always been the chairman. Do you remember it ever being any different?
I don't remember being different.
I think John was.
I remember there being on the board, but as far as paying attention,
To who the chairman
Who
was,
was the
but the
chairman.
judge was always there and he always run the meetings.
yeah.
Personally, I know how it may sound, I don't really have a big problem with it, honestly, because if you know it, I mean, a board is a board and the chairman just runs the meeting, essentially. And,
If it runs that way.
yeah.
I personally feel it should be not the county judge, you should let the board members elect them.
Okay, so that's one change, and then, so now just to be clear, the old agreement that was made when Louisa and the county first agreed, it said this, that the board would elect the chairman each year.
Well, then,
But I don't think it's been that, I mean, I think it has been the county judge ever since.
if you
but
run
this
into
agreement said that.
an election time and you just appoint a new board member, I mean, that board member, I think would be better than going through an election and.
Okay,
people-
and then, you know, it doesn't really spell out when they're elected. It just says the board shall elect a chairman. And then also on page 5, funding and fiscal administration, it basically says the county is responsible for physically funding 911. But then at the end, it says there's a surcharge of $4, which was just approved in the last 6 months, I guess. It's always been on there, but it hadn't always been $4. And part of the problem is that this $4 a month is on landline phones. So as the days go by, everybody's dropping landline phones and getting cell phones. So this fee, the amount of money it brings in continues to dwindle because not that many people even have a landline phone anymore for this to be applicable to. But on the last sentence, it says such surcharge modification, says that it can be modified based upon the recommendation of the board into the annual budget. Such surcharge modifications shall be subject to approval of the fiscal court and city council. They want to remove city council. They want it to be approved by the fiscal court. Again, keep in mind that all that money that it generates goes into the county budget, our Sweet Air Production. So it goes into their budget as revenues, and then all the expenses of 911 is paid for by the county. We don't pay for anything. So,
What's our purpose?
well, it's kind of a conversation I had with you all a while back, remember?
Yeah.
Saying, you know,
Except we have
should
no
we?
say in that matter.
It's, you know, it's, Greg has served on the board, I've served on the board, in a couple capacities. It's kind of a unique, it's really a unique situation that you've got people making up a board, but then all the hiring, firing, all the revenues and all the expenses and all that goes through the county. It's all done by the county.
But if something happens, then we're liable too,
Say, from what.
but we have no say-so.
Well, you have a position on the board. That's it.
We elected, Mr. Rowe here back.
Yes, we did last week.
Yeah.
And I'm on it by way of my office, so every who the mayor is will be on it, and then you all will always pick a council member to be on it, and then we have, who else was it, Greg?
Law enforcement representative and
Pardon?
was fire.
Well, our fire is not on it because Eddie felt like our fire department is sort of represented by a city council member and the mayor. The county fire departments have somebody, because they don't really have any representation if they're not on. Obviously, me and Cody's gonna look out for Louisa Fire Department if we're there representing the city, we're gonna be looking out for us. And then the law enforcement,
Just to rotate between us and the sheriff's department,
exactly.
or jointly chosen. And that-
I see it both ways, I see your point very, very well. And I guess I kinda see his point, the judge has always done it, it's kind of like the counties, you know, that's what makes it strange to me, it's like, it's almost a department of the county, you know? And it's not like I won't there and have any say-so in the way they do their road department or any other department. But because it affects the city is why they did it this way, way back when. And before this, you know, the city didn't know. The city had dispatch center right back here. I worked at it in 1986.
Whenever I worked
But as new funding came around through the state, the 911 systems, and we needed much better communication systems and all that, everybody felt it was better for the county to take it over, the county get things, so that's when they took it from here, moved. And like Bud said, back then, the city didn't get any funding for it. So
I think it was $100 and some thousand a year to run it, and we got like 10 or 12,000 a year from the county.
A lot of us, when they implemented that tax.
Yeah.
Or levy, the city couldn't implement one countywide.
Yeah.
So in order to implement one countywide to generate funds to man the 911 center, is that the city gave it to the county, or can enter this agreement with the county, for them to take it over.
So it's up to you all. Like I said, I know how it sounds and maybe even how it feels, but I honestly don't have a problem with him being the chairman, whoever the judge is.
So it's up to us to pass this.
Yeah. But I mean, just so you know, if I thought it was gonna create a problem or be a serious problem, I'd tell you, I don't think it is.
If it helps you, I'll just tell you, I've been on the board for many years, and the chairman really, it's like, you know, when you all vote on something, Harold don't get a vote in it. So, the chairman's just kind of,
Yeah, it's logical, I
Operates
think it
the-
is that the judge would be the chairman.
Do they have
I think that makes
meetings once a
sense,
month?
But it's just,
Well, I'm just saying that it's always me.
The chairman goes to meetings.
whenever they need it. You're supposed to have them on.
And I doubt that it's ever been done the way this is supposed to have been done. I'd say it's I'm almost sure it's always been the judge, that I can remember.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody else being the chairman.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be chairman.
Do they have set meetings that they have every month?
They have not done well with that.
And if not, then
Hopefully we're
the
gonna
chairman
get
is the
back.
one to call the meetings.
Hopefully, we're gonna get better at it, that's what we're trying to do here.
Is
I mean,
the,
county judge is a big job, you might wanna delegate it to somebody else that might have more time to call a meeting.
Well, usually, the 911 director, if she needs a meeting between meetings, then she calls a meeting.
Who is our 911 director?
It's, Jill Jackson.
Is she not on the board?
No, because she would be the employee. She would be the,
She'd be the one that should be
Jackson.
overseeing the city.
see what I'm saying, so she would be voting on herself, per se, so. So it's up to you all, and probably it's just that, the way we've currently been doing it, the board agrees to raise it or not raise it, and then they recommend to fiscal court whether to raise it or not raise it. So the county has been the one that's making, even though this agreement said the city, I don't know if we've ever voted.
We haven't, that I know of.
Even though this agreement has said that through the years, that's not what's been followed. So basically, it would be kinda like this to me, if the county's not getting in enough money to pay the bills,